Samsung has finally pulled back the curtain on the Galaxy Fold 7, and it's shaping up to be the most refined and usable foldable the company has ever made. The Fold 7 is not just a slight improvement, it's a major leap forward in terms of design, usability, and hardware, addressing nearly every pain point that users and reviewers have pointed out in previous models. First off, let's talk size. The Fold 7 is dramatically thinner and lighter. When closed, it measures just 8.9 millimeters thick, matching the Oppo Find N5 and nearly tying with the Honor Magic V5. Unfolded, it's stunningly slim for 0.2 millimeters. That's a huge upgrade from the bulky 12.1 millimeter closed profile. Of the Fold 6, weight has also been cut significantly. This thing comes in at just 215 grams, making it the lightest book-style foldable ever from Samsung. But the Fold 7 isn't just thinner, it's stronger too. The new Armor Flex hinge with a multi-reel design adds durability and smooth folding action, while Gorilla Glass Victus to protect the back and new Gorilla Glass Ceramic to shield the front. Samsung also uses its toughest armor aluminum for the frame. This phone may not be dust-resistant yet, but it's clearly been built to last. Perhaps the biggest improvement in day-to-day use comes from the redesigned cover display. Long criticized for being narrow and awkward, the outer screen now has a far more practical 21:9 aspect ratio and spans 6.5 inches, finally making it feel like a proper phone when closed. This change alone could make the Fold 7 appeal to many who were previously turned off by the clunky outer experience. On the inside, you'll find a massive 8-inch dynamic AMOLED-to-X display that now uses a new titanium lattice support layer. While that sounds super high-tech, what you really need to know is that the ultra-thin glass is now 50% thicker, helping to reduce the crease and improve durability. And yes, from what I've seen, the crease is much less visible than before. For the first time ever, Samsung is also giving its foldable the premium 200-megapixel main camera from the Galaxy S5 Ultra, including 2x lossless crop zoom. Backing that up are a 10MP3x telephoto lens, a 12MP ultra-wide, and dual 10MP selfie shooters, one on the cover screen and one on the main display, with the latter getting a wider 100-degree field of view. Beyond hardware, Samsung is betting big on AI this year. Features like the Previsual Engine reduce motion blur, Generative Edit now includes tap-to-erase suggestions, and Audio Eraser removes unwanted background noise even from call transcripts. Plus, Gemini Live is deeply integrated, letting users interact with AI through the power button across both screens. Of course, not everything is perfect. Is Apple finally getting serious about affordable iPhones? A new leak says yes, and the plan involves reusing something old to make something new. According to a report from The Elec, Apple is preparing to launch the iPhone 17 next spring, and to keep costs down, it will likely reuse the exact same organic light-emitting diode display found in the iPhone 14 and iPhone 16e. That's right, the same 6.1-inch organic light-emitting diode panel that debuted 2 years ago could be coming back again. The move is part of Apple's new strategy to make budget-friendly iPhones more consistent and easier to produce. It all started when the iPhone 16e hit the market. At first, it was rumored to be a new generation of the iPhone SE series, but when it launched under the main iPhone 16 branding, instead of as an iPhone SE 4, it caught everyone off guard. This suggested that Apple was rethinking how it handles more affordable iPhone models. Instead of random SE drops every few years, it now looks like Apple wants to release a new budget model every year, this time with the E label. The iPhone 16 East, with its A18 chip, Face ID, and familiar display, launched at a starting price of $599 United States dollars. It placed itself right in the mix with upper mid-range phones like the Google Pixel 9a, Samsung Galaxy S20 for Fan Edition, and OnePlus One 3R. The formula was simple: offer solid performance, clean design, and all the essentials while skipping the premium extras that most everyday users don't care about. And based on how well the iPhone 16e was received, Apple is now ready to repeat that recipe with the iPhone 17e. The report claims that display suppliers like BO, Samsung, and possibly LG Display will be involved in providing the panels for the new device. Since the technology is already mature and well-tested, this would help Apple cut costs during production while maintaining display quality. Earlier reports from April suggested that trial production of the iPhone 17e was already underway, with a tentative launch aimed for May next year. Apple analyst Ming-Chi Kuo also believes the new model will arrive in the first half of the year, likely sticking to a spring timeline. But what's even more interesting is Kuo's long-term forecast. He says this will not be a one-time release. In fact, Apple is reportedly planning a third model in the series, expected in the first half of 2027. That means we could be looking at a proper yearly cycle for Apple's affordable iPhones, a big change from how sporadically the iPhone. What if the budget version of a foldable phone actually beats the competition at a lower price? That's the surprise twist Samsung might be delivering with the upcoming Galaxy Z Flip 7 Fan Edition, just days before its official debut at the Galaxy and packed event on July 9th. While everyone's eyes have been on the Galaxy Z Fold 7 and the standard Flip 7, the more affordable Fan Edition model is quietly stealing the spotlight. A new Geekbench listing shows the device, coded as SMF761B, putting up some impressive performance numbers. A single-core score of 1,940 and a multi-core score of 6,136. These are not just good scores for a budget foldable. They're enough to place it above the already released Motorola Razr Plus 2025, which comes in with a single-core score of 1,896 and a much lower multi-core score of 4,814. That may not seem like a huge difference at first glance, but it really matters when the phone is handling more demanding tasks like multitasking, photo editing, or gaming. For regular things like browsing or chatting, they might feel similar, but once you open a few apps or start pushing the phone harder, the Galaxy Z Flip 7 Fan Edition could clearly come out on top. And now, let's talk about the part everyone really cares about, the price. If Samsung launches this phone at around $800 United States dollars, that would make it $200 United States dollars cheaper than the Motorola Razr Plus 2025, which sits at 1,000 United States dollars. That's a big difference, especially when the cheaper phone is performing better. On top of that, Samsung is known for longer software support, high-quality screens, and a strong ecosystem of accessories and connected devices. So even though it's labeled as a fan edition, it's hardly a cut-down version in the ways that matter most. In fact, this might be one of those rare times when the cheaper phone gives you more value than the premium competition. That doesn't mean the Razr Plus 2025 is a bad phone. It still holds up well against last year's Galaxy Z Flip 6 and might appeal to people who prefer Motorola's style or features. But unless the Razr gets a serious price cut or adds something extra that Samsung doesn't offer, it could struggle to compete once the Z Flip 7 Fan Edition becomes official. The timing couldn't be better for Samsung. Foldable phones are still seen as premium products, and most people assume cheaper means less capable, but this leak flips that idea. The Z Flip 7 Fan Edition seems ready to handle everyday use without compromise and even outperform some of its pricier rivals. As we wait for the July 9th launch, one thing is becoming clearer. Samsung's strategy of offering multiple foldables at different price points might pay off in a big way.